Grenada has surpassed pre-COVID levels in cruise ship calls with an expected 202 cruise lines coming to our shores, 9 of which will be heading to Carriacou. This story and more in the National Report.
Have you noticed an increase or decrease in your electricity bill? You know that changes in the fuel and non-fuel rates affect your bill. You should also be aware that changes in household activities affect your bill. Ask yourself these questions. Have the rates changed? Have there been more people at your home? Have your children been on holiday? Have you used your fan or air conditioning unit more often to beat the heat? Are any of your electrical appliances or equipment faulty? Have you added any new appliances such as transformers, water heaters, or pumps? Make it a habit to understand any changes on your electricity bill. For more factors that affect your bill, visit www.grenlec.com. Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Welcome back. With the details to the news for Friday, October 21st, 2022, I am Sherry Noel. Grenada is recording an 11% increase in cruise calls compared to pre-COVID levels in 2019, with the intended arrival of 202 cruise ships. Of the 202 cruise ships down to dock at Grenada's port, 9 will be headed to Carriacou, an increase from 6 which visited the sister isle in 2019. This was announced on Friday by CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Petra Roach, as Grenada officially began its 2022-2023 cruise season. During an interview with the Grenada Broadcasting Network at a welcome ceremony for the first cruise call to Grenada at the Melville Street Port, Ms. Roach also announced that 12 new ships forms part of the numbers coming to our shores, including premium cruise line, the Ritz-Carlton. Roach says these gains are as a result of the hard work of the GTA and meetings held with cruise lines ahead of the start of the season.
We actually just came back from FCCA, which was held in Santo Domingo, and we had a chance to sit down and talk to all the cruise lines with whom we're doing business and also those with whom we're not, because ultimately we recognise that in spite of the fact that we've got an increase in the number of calls, obviously the cruise ship industry, in terms of the occupancies on board, it is actually slowly coming back. So we're really looking to define a strategy and work with our stakeholders in terms of expanding the number of product offerings that we've got on the ground and really make sure that the per passenger spend is actually improved. So it's not just about quantity, it's also about quality. We're very excited to have the new Nutmeg Museum in Victoria being opened, and also we've just finished a training with the vendors as well as the taxi drivers, which is really about looking at how we present ourselves and again going back to all the traditional culture and folklore here that we can integrate into the offering. I think we've got to recognise that we have to be different and we have to be a welcoming nation if we're going to get the full benefits of the industry.
Ms. Roach says the number of cruise ship calls is expected to increase as the season progresses.
I think the message has gone out quite clearly that Grenada is open for business, that Grenada is committed to ensuring that we have a very efficient and professional operation on the ground, and that we have a product offering that is exciting, that really is authentic, that really gets people to do exactly what they're looking for, have an immersive and community-oriented experience.
The first ship to dock at the St. George's Port on Friday was Celebrity Cruise, carrying 2,500 passengers and 125 crew members. Tourism Minister Honorable Lennox Andrews expressed his satisfaction with the level of organization with tour buses, vendors and other workers at the port as they welcomed the first cruise passengers. Minister Andrews says the ripple benefits felt by the cruise season will impact thousands of families locally.
I can therefore imagine the joy that fills the hearts and minds of our local taxi and tour operators, of our local spice and craft vendors, of our artisans, our roadside vendors, and our restaurant owners. For they all stand to benefit from this wonderful industry. And in the end, our economy prosper, our economy grows, and that we all live a much better life here in this country. And I'm making this point because as a people, we are all aware of the benefits that tourism brings to our country and to our people. Through tourism, many of us earn a decent income. Jobs are created. Our infrastructure is developed. Our people is developed professionally and skillfully. And of course, our country as a whole earns foreign exchange.
Moving along, 14 credit unions on Thursday participated in the local leg of the International Credit Unions Day celebration under the theme Empower Your Financial Future with a Credit Union. President of the Credit Union League, Randy Boyd Cadet, in delivering remarks, told members that the objective of International Credit Union Day is to celebrate the spirit of the global credit union movement, one that asks of members to do soul-searching to reflect upon the credit union movement's history, recognize its hard work and commitment, and share member experiences here in Grenada and around the world.
The ultimate goal of this celebration, my friends, is to raise awareness about the tremendous work that credit unions are doing all over the globe, and to give you, the owners, members, staff, and well-wishers of Grenada credit unions the opportunity to fellowship with one another. After 2 years of no in-person celebrations, finally, yes, finally, we return to the usual festive manner. We are well dressed in our credit union t-shirts. We are here to spread the good news of credit unionism.
Credit union members, Mr. Cadet says, should always be cognizant of the fact that they are part of an international body that represents people helping people.
We represent togetherness of ordinary Grenadian sons and daughters. We represent 36% of Grenada's GDP. We represent the fruits of seeds that were sown over 74 years ago. As such, we should feel very proud of the strides made by our credit union movement, and we should give ourselves a loud round of applause.
The credit union movement, he says, must organize itself to be productive and creative in an effort to help in improving the lives of ordinary Grenadians.
I want to say to each one of you that there is no doubt that Grenada credit unions provide that critical support to allow for people of humble means, yes, people like you, people like me, to live a better quality life. Indeed, when I look across the car park, I am encouraged that the credit union sector is indeed blessed to have each one of you. Your efforts, our efforts, and all efforts, therefore, must be made to ensure that the Grenadian dream of social and economic transformation is realized. Together we can, and together we must. I say to you, my friends, be ye prepared, get ready, and get more actively involved, because from tomorrow, yes, from tomorrow, Grenada credit unions intend to be in a position to play a bigger role and undertake investments in grassroots and other projects.
Part of the Credit Union Day celebrations included a march past, which was worn by GUT Credit Union. The Authentic Caribbean Foundation made a sizable donation to the education sector, and more specifically to primary school students, at the Ministry of Education today. Public Relations Officer in the Ministry of Education, Annette Moore, tells us more.
Chief Education Officer Angela Finley expressed her thanks for the donation of 460 backpacks and stationery from the Authentic Caribbean Foundation and anticipates continued collaboration.
On behalf of the Minister, Permanent Secretary, and other officers of the ministry, I must say how elated we are to be the recipients of this noble gift from Authentic Caribbean as their way of expressing interest in supporting the education sector of Grenada by reaching out to some of our most necessitous students through this gift of bags and stationery supplies to enhance their educational journey. We do expect you as officers to convey to the recipients, to the schools, and ultimately the recipients, the extent to which they should cherish this gift. We do look forward to the ultimate benefits and impact that this collaboration would have, and we would endeavor to continue to partner with them in all ways possible to enhance our education sector as we move along on this transformative endeavor.
Acting Deputy Chief Education Officer for School Administration and Management, Kathy James, presented backpacks to several education officers who were present at the handing-over ceremony. These officers will distribute the backpacks to primary schools across the country, where principals will then hand them over to the students. Project Specialist Officer in the Ministry of Education, Michelle Braffett, gave some information on the Authentic Caribbean Foundation.
The Authentic Caribbean Foundation is a non-profit organization out of Boston. The founder is Mr. Andrew Sharp, who is actually from Jamaica. Mr. Sharp's focus is on transforming the lives of children with disabilities within the Caribbean, as well as working with their caregivers, as well as educators.
The organization also works with persons living with HIV and vulnerable children.
We are privileged to have that collaboration with Authentic Caribbean Foundation, and we actually had a visit from Mr. Sharp just about 2 weeks ago in Grenada, where he did a needs assessment of some of the schools here in Grenada, especially the special education schools and other schools as well. And we intend to continue this collaboration. We intend to have training and so, which would be funded by the Authentic Caribbean Foundation.
Thank you, Authentic Caribbean Foundation.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. Grenadians are being called upon to participate in an online survey on special education needs being conducted by the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture in collaboration with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS Commission through the Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, PEARL. The survey, which began on September 19th, also has representatives going out into the communities to collect data on children who could be missing out on relevant learning. Sorana Mitchell has the details.
The aim of the Special Education Needs Survey, or SEN survey, is to ensure that all children are identified in the communities and are given opportunities to learn. The focal point for the SEN survey, Agnes St. John, explains.
The SEN survey is going out into the communities and finding persons who are not attending school for one reason or the other. A parent might decide, I don't think I may not see the need for you to be educated. I may not see the need for you to go to school because you can't do this, you can't do that. And then they are denying that person the opportunity of excelling. You could never tell. Even if a child cannot walk, does not mean that's not a brilliant brain behind there. So the survey is more or less trying to get out there into the nook and cranny to find children who are otherwise left at home and are given the opportunity to be involved as everybody else.
Dr. Astra McKenzie is the National Coordinator for the OECS PEARL.
So in addition to going out into the communities and identifying those children who are not going to school, we are also interacting with the general public. So we're speaking to health practitioners, educators, parents, anybody in the community that's interested in special education, and giving them an opportunity to have a say in how we shape the special education programs going forward. We've had projects like this in the past, and we've not paid any attention to special education needs. Now this year, we are having the opportunity, in this project, we have the opportunity to pay attention to extending access to students with special education needs, access to students who are at the early childhood age as well.
Dr. McKenzie says data is lacking and the survey is seeking to correct this. She goes on to note that with this survey, the ministry will be better able to shape projects geared towards special education needs.
So the members of the public can actually go online and participate in the survey, because the data that we collect from the survey will also help us to get information so that we can make decisions about the resources we would need to support inclusion in classrooms, the training that educators will need, and of course we'll get the data that we need. We don't really have data on special education needs per se. Okay, so across the OECS, we have this survey going on right now so that we can collect the data on the prevalence of special education needs. We get a chance to have the public say what they would like to see special education needs look like.
The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, OECS Pearl, is a 4-year program that seeks to advance progress towards the goals of the OECS Education Sector Strategy, OESS, through increased access and improved student learning in basic education. The OECS Pearl is funded by the Global Partnership for Education. For the National Report, I am Sarana Mitchell.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health with responsibility for wellness and religious affairs, Kevin Andel, is calling on the religious community to engage in the congregations over the weekend in Thanksgiving sessions to set the tone for this year's observance. Thanksgiving Day is observed on October 25th annually. This year it falls on a Tuesday, which will be a bank holiday in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. The theme this year is Remembering Mercy, Giving Thanks. Thanksgiving activities began on Wednesday, October 19th.
The ministry would like to really reach out to religious bodies out there. We have written to religious bodies, the Conference of Churches, Alliance of Evangelical Churches, the Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, and the Islamic Foundation. But there are other churches out there that are not part of these bodies, and we'd really like to reach out to them that during the period of October 21st to the 24th, that as a precursor to our National Remembrance and Thanksgiving Day, that their respective congregation engage in sessions of Thanksgiving and remembrance, and reach out to God to pray for our nation, bringing the nation before Him, giving Him thanks for what He has done for us, really bringing us out of COVID and all the other challenges that we have faced during the past few years, but most importantly to remember. And as we remember and reflect, that we ask for His guidance to face upcoming challenges, or just as religious bodies just standing in the gap for the nation. It is a time that most Grenadians reflect, and we would like the churches, the religious bodies out there to engage their congregation likewise.
Before we wrap tonight's news, government is reminding all residents of Molineux and surrounding areas about the community meeting carded for Monday, October 24th, 2022. The meeting will be held close to the land slippage site to update on safety measures during construction. The meeting begins at 5 p.m. And with that, we come to the end of the National Report for Friday, October 21st, 2022. On behalf of the news and production team, I am Sharian Noel, thanking you for viewing.